our speaker. Let me give her a proper introduction. She is an 8-star diamond coach, and she's been around. This month, I believe, is her coach-anniversary month. At the end of June, she started in 2014, so about 6 years. And she has been a premier coach and an elite coach 4 times. She's also been in Success Club for 71 months. Those of you new to Beachbody, Success Club is helping at least 3 new people each month get connected to their health and fitness solution. And by doing that every single month, you gain points, and those points convert into a club called Success Club, which is a foundational program that helps you be successful in this business. Well, 71 months, she's done exactly that. So I'm going to bring her on right now. She's from Flower Mound, Texas. So anybody from Flower Mound, you know where that is. It's close to Dallas. And here she is, Joy Bowen. Hi, Joy.
Hey, Sandy.
It's very nice to see you. And thank you for doing the call today. I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to have you share, your story of what brought you to Beachbody.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before Beachbody, my family was in an emotional roller coaster. I had just been diagnosed with breast cancer. My oldest son was showing signs of severe depression and anxiety. And on the heels of multiple surgeries for myself, I honestly felt like an alien in my skin. In fact, I kind of had this own mild form of my own depression because I felt frumpy and that I lost my spark and things just, I didn't feel like myself in my body anymore. And I remember this day where I was literally standing in my closet and had that like iconic moment where I'm looking at all my clothes, just completely frustrated because nothing fit. And I actually started having this argument with myself, like maybe I should just be content. Like I am a cancer survivor. Maybe this is just over 40. I have hypothyroid. Like maybe this is just going to be my reality and I should just accept it. And I don't know about you, but I have a list of stores that, I often joke about like, hey, I've turned the corner in the middle age if I go shop over here. And I actually debated like going to these stores and just shopping for the mom jeans and recognizing like mom jeans are a thing. Like maybe I can just rock the mom jeans. I'll just go out and shop the problem away. And then as soon as I had that thought in my head, I was like, this is so ridiculous, Joy. Like your other choice is to fight for your healthy strong, like you fought for your health. And so thankfully, I ditched the mom jean idea and I decided to fight for my healthy strong. I had remembered that my dear friend Stephanie, and now coach, mentor, and sponsor in this business, Stephanie Richardson, she had been a part of the PIO test group and recently shared her test group results on Facebook. And she had this incredible transformation. I mean, we like survived the toddler years together. And I knew Stephanie so well. And I thought, oh my gosh, if she can transform, if she can, have abs, and like maybe there's hope for me too. So I reached out to Stephanie and I said, hey, I have no idea what that PIO thing is, but it looks like something that I can do in the comfort of my home to fight for my strength again. I want in. So I went all in as a customer. And when I jumped into the group, I started right away on the program and I shared on Facebook something like completely innocent, like, I just started this program called PIO. I'm so excited that my body can move and that I'm fighting for my strength again. I mean, it was not magical at all. But I had 3 friends reach out to me and say, hey, like, we've been praying for you guys through all the bad. Like, what's this thing you're doing? Like, we want to be a part of this. Like, what's that PIO thing? And I had 3 friends who wanted to jump into the group with me. So I did what any customer would do. I brought them to Stephanie and I said, here are 3 referrals for you. I'm such a good friend. And so Stephanie was like, you should get the referral money back for the people who are enrolling. And y'all, you need to know that I told Stephanie no to this opportunity, to coaching, to the groups, to all of it for 7 years. For 7 years, like Stephanie asked me to be a part of her team when she first started with Beachbody, like way back in the day when it was called $1 Million Body or something like that. And I just remember telling her, like, no, like, that's not for me. I'm sure you're going to rock it. You'll do great. But like, I was a no way, Jose. You guys, I even threw away Shakeology samples, powdered gold in the trash. Can you imagine? So when she said I should sign up to get the referral back, I was like, surely you need the referral. Like, I mean, that you can't be making that much money in that little network marketing thing. So I thought I was giving her a gift. And what I didn't know at the time is that she was far more successful than I ever could have imagined. Like, she didn't need the referral. She was trying to give me a gift. So I pushed back because of like the coach title. And, she assured me, look, there's no obligation, cancel in 30 days. Like, I promise you, like, I have no expectations. And so I was like, all right, fine. Because the reality was we were in so much medical debt that, a couple extra $100 from a few friends jumping in really did matter to our family. But I laughed like so loud when I was filling out that coach application, because I just kept thinking, like, here I am. Like, it's been 7 years of me saying no, and I'm now enrolling as a coach. Like, what is happening? And I remember, like, instantly when those friends joined the group, like, my own personal commitment level just skyrocketed, and something kind of just clicked. Stephanie added me to this like training email series, and I got really curious because I love personal development stuff. And so I started snooping around, and I realized, like, man, this is like duplicatable. There's a system here that I can use. This is simple. At the end of the day, I just have to have the courage to take action. And so I did. I started taking action and started helping people. And what I don't think that Stephanie realized at the time was that I was so searching for a next step in my professional growth. So, like, I have been working in a nonprofit organization, earning a nonprofit salary for like 7 years, but I was in a position where, like, there was no opportunity for growth, no opportunity for advancement. And I had really maxed out in that position. I've been doing that position for years, but I didn't know what my next step would be. I've been interviewing for other jobs and no doors were opening to me. That $200 check that I initially got from Beachbody gave me so much hope, because I realized, like, oh my gosh, I don't have to wait for someone to recognize my potential. I don't have to wait for permission or promotion. Like, I could actually do this in purposeful pockets of time without quitting my job and give myself my own raise. That $200 check was like the largest raise I had received in years. So it actually gave me a vision for a much better, hopeful future. And I realized I could do a whole lot of good in the process of taking the lid off of my own leadership. So I decided to go all in, and I have never looked back.
And what about those mom jeans? Did you ever go back, or you fought against it?
I have continued to fight very hard against the mom jeans, for sure.
I've been doing PIO because I cannot fit in my mom jeans right now. So crazy poundage. Thank you for sharing that story. And let's talk a little bit about the topic today, because sharing stories on social media can be really scary.
Yeah.
And I had heard a lot of people saying, okay, I've shared my story. I've now nothing else to share. I've run out. So talk about this topic and go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited that we're talking about this today, because I really feel that, especially with all the things that are happening around us, overwhelm can kind of take us out and pull us back. And I think that the world needs to hear our stories now more than ever. So I want us to feel like empowered. I want to get us unparalyzed today. But first of all, I want to let everyone know that even after almost 6 years in this business, I still have many days when I'm tempted to believe that I've run out of stories to tell. In fact, let me take you back to what things looked like for me as a newer coach, because I wasn't really sharing many stories at all. Like, I was literally bombing the feed. And, we have this little thing called Facebook memories, and that Facebook memories reminds me all the time that I used to post up to 4 times a day consistently. Now, this is 5 years ago, but just recently I was reminded on one day I posted 2 quote graphics with absolutely no captions, just some emoji. I shared a post from my husband about a free men's boot camp that he was hosting, and I think that got like 3 whopping likes. And I also posted an angry cat meme about the abundance of rain in Texas that year. Like that was it. Not a single story was actually shared that day, but that was a lot of what I was putting out into the universe as a soon to be 1-star diamond coach, mind you. So I want to just like empower us all to have a lot of grace for us on this journey. We get better at telling our story over time. We get to earn while we learn and grow in this business. But maybe you're like me and you feel like figuring out, what we should share is one of the most stressful, overwhelming parts of this business. It's never ending. Every day presents a new challenge about what to say and how to say it and what photo to use. And I don't know about you, but when I feel overwhelmed, I default to easy. And for me, easy was posting quote memes or quote graphics and memes. But for you, it might be only posting about our products. And when we only post about like one singular thing, when we do that, it becomes just one note pounding on social media over and over again. And ultimately, that one note becomes this white noise. Nothing stands out. And people start to ignore what we have to say, when in reality, we should be sharing a full melody of our life. And I wish I had understood these principles as a brand new coach, but today I hope to give you freedom. Because the truth of the matter is, we all have stories. We never run out of them unless we allow fear and overwhelm and limiting beliefs to keep us from showing up altogether. And honestly, that would be the ultimate tragedy, because the world would miss out on who you are and what you have to say. Okay, so here's what I've done to move from hiding behind quote graphics or a sweaty selfie to never running out of stories to share. The first thing I did, and I continue to work on to this day, was change my mindset. You see, guys, I was allowing imposter syndrome to hold me back from showing up authentically. Now, the imposter syndrome is when we feel like we haven't really earned our success. We feel like we're a fraud or an imposter, and ultimately we have this fear of being exposed as a fake. And this was a huge obstacle for me as a newer coach. But again, it still pops up every now and again, even to this day. And as a new coach, for example, I didn't feel like I could talk to people about this business because I really didn't have any success to show for it. And in fact, you guys, it took me over 3 months, just about 3 months to achieve the Emerald rank. I remember Stephanie every week asking me isn't there anyone who can enroll as a coach for you? You have your husband, you're half an emerald, just one. And I'm like, no, I just didn't have the confidence to talk to people about the coaching opportunity because I didn't have a lot of success. So I felt like I could just share a lot about the fitness journey instead of the business. But here's what I've learned about imposter syndrome. Your lack of results has nothing to do with your ability to add value and help someone else get results. Because people are going to see this opportunity and our fitness solutions through the lens of what they can do with it, not through the lens of what you have or have not accomplished. I didn't need to have a full transformation for people to join me on the fitness journey. I was at the weakest, most vulnerable point in my life, but I still had people who wanted to be a part of that. So the old me would post a sneak peek graphic once a month with details of the call, very just informational, right? And now I talk about transformation. I talk about how this opportunity is changing me, and that story never ends. I share about how it's connecting me in community, how there's a system that I can follow in purposeful pockets of time, how it's expanding the way I think and building my confidence. It's allowing me to evolve and it helps me set bigger goals. And every aspect, every little aspect of that journey is a different story to share. So I'm not a fraud, y'all. I'm a work in progress, and you are too. People are more concerned with where you are going than where you've been or where you are at right now. So we can focus on our vision for the future, how hard we're going to work to make it happen, that never give up commitment that we have to helping people or reaching our goals, and how they're invited to the adventure with us. And let me tell you, that is an incredible story to share. So you are enough. Your story is enough. It doesn't have to be big. It can be small, because we all are in a process of change. And the people will see the solution to their health problems or the business opportunity through the lens of what they can achieve with it, not through what you have or have not achieved with it right now. Next, when I feel stuck, that writer's block, I take a moment and remember to simply live out loud. This is such just a powerful, simple way to approach telling stories. Living out loud is just sharing stories from my everyday life and not keeping them to myself. Living out loud wasn't something I was doing when I was throwing quote graphics and memes into the feed. I was hiding behind all of that because I didn't think my ordinary life was really worth sharing. And so the old me would make, that quote graphic from something I read, but the live out loud me takes some inspiration nugget from my personal development time, and I talk about what it means to me personally, how it's changing the way I think. And by the way, sharing what we're learning and the impact that it's having on us, it demonstrates that growth mindset. And a growth mindset is super attractive to follow. I have people who reach out to me all the time and they ask me like, hey, what's that book you're reading? I saw your quote in your stories today, or, hey, I really resonated with what you shared today. What are you reading? And bonus, it keeps me in that vital behavior of personal development because it gives me things to just learn and learn out loud with the people in my circles of influence. So the old me would take a selfie outside and say something like, there's no commute in that no boss life. But the live out loud to me shows the laundry all over my dining room table because we're working on a massive goal and laundry doesn't pay the bills. So I guess my boys are just going to have to learn how to fluff and fold for the day. Anyone relate? So the old me tried to show this ideal life, and the live out loud me just tries to show real, authentic life. And the other thing that I started to do was share smaller parts of my life that I really thought were not interesting at all. Things like shopping last minute for that school project that my son didn't tell me about. Like people would, comment about how they've been in the same boat, and we would all find humor in the shared pain of it all. My golden doodle, Obi, oh my gosh, like when we go get a new bow tie for him, or he's in trouble with getting into another mud run situation in the backyard, or this little cup device thing we found on Amazon that cleans the mud off his paws. Like we have so many people who connect and want to have conversations over all of that stuff. And they're always asking about Obi. They actually want to see him on all my calls. So I also talk about like little things, like how I love tacos. I could eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, y'all. And I've had people send me pretty much every quote graphic, every meme, every like video about tacos, you name it. I've even had people send me tank tops out of the blue about tacos. Like people connect with that. And as crazy as it sounds, like people even message me about the brand of eyelash strips I use. So I just wear them consistently since it clearly is a great conversation starter. So how does this all relate to how people will how is that going to advance our business, right? Like what does sharing all those seemingly unimportant things do for ultimately our goals? Well, people are more likely to do business with someone that they have something in common with. So when you share more of your life, you create more points of commonality with the people who are following you. So if you don't have the perfect post or a big story to share, like that is okay, you guys. Like just share more of your life and you're going to find people connecting with who you are even more than what you do. So whatever those like things that you are most passionate about, that you could talk forever about, talk about those things more. You'll connect more with other people. And I also made the commitment to live out loud consistently. Oh my gosh, showing up every single day, because again, we can't get to know someone who's only showing up like once or twice a week. We have to show up every single day for people to know, like, and trust us, for us to build that relationship. And by the way, all of that helps the relationship building in my conversations behind the scenes, which honestly matters even more than what I post. And the third thing I do when I feel like I've run out of stories, this is rocket science. Are you ready for it? I recycle my stories. That's funny, right? We think that everyone sees our posts, but I promise you, everyone doesn't see your posts. Even though I feel like a broken record about my breast cancer journey, I still have people who are shocked to learn that I went through that. In fact, I had a friend just a couple weeks ago who was like, are you telling me that those videos that you post of you and your husband doing those workouts, like you guys are really like just following along to a Beachbody video? I'm like, yeah, she had no idea I was a coach. And she's been following me in this journey for like 5 years. So you can recycle things over and over again because people are not always seeing what you post. Any content, big or small, that connects with people is fair game to be recycled. So I start by looking at my Facebook memories, because even memories that are from before I was a coach are valuable for me to talk about, like who I was versus who I'm becoming. Or maybe there's an event that pops up that sparks a memory and a story that I can share in a fresh way. And I also now, thanks to Bob Heilig, he's a social influencer for network marketers. He's awesome. I use a tool called Trello to catalog my posts that I've made. And I catalog them so that I can, look for fresh inspiration to share again in the future. So if it's been like 3 months since I shared that idea or that part of my life, it's fair game to share again. So now I'm consistently building a library of my own inspiration or calls to action to reshare on days when those creative juices just aren't flowing. So I'll tweak the caption, maybe add a new photo, and voila, it's a brand new post. So create a system that works for you. But I love Trello, Trello. At the end of the day, we all have some kind of, curse of knowledge, I think. And the curse of knowledge is our own cognitive bias, that we take for granted the things we know. We assume everybody knows this already, including our story or information we learn. No one's going to message me and say, hey, you know that thing you shared about like how you're working on drinking more water and that's important, more water, more weight loss. Like, I think you posted something similar about 6 months ago. Like, why are you doing that again? Like, no one is ever going to message me that. What's more likely to happen is that someone's going to comment or reach out and say, oh my gosh, this is such a good reminder. Like, I've been drinking far too much coffee lately, and I need to get way better with my water. Thank you. Like, they're going to be so thankful for the reminder of things that they already know, but they aren't necessarily putting into practice. So you have permission to recycle your stories. You can recycle content that has helped or impacted you. You can recycle posts that have really connected with your audience. And again, not everyone's seeing it. So you have freedom to share it again. So really, our life is a work in progress, live out loud, tell it again story. Don't overthink it. Just share more of you, more parts of you. Our life experiences are personal, but they are never meant to be private. We actually have the saying on our team that we learned from Tasha Smith of customer first, team second, ego last. And I think that when we hold back our stories or feel like we can't share a certain part of our life, whether it be big or small, then we're actually leading with our ego and not with the other people in our life first. Because our stories are meant to connect and inspire others to take next steps too.
Wow. You know what? I wrote some things down because you said know, like, and trust, and you said it quickly. And it's like your posts are meant to have people to get to know you, right?
Yes.
Like you and trust you. Uh, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's all comes down to those points of commonality. Like when we share different aspects of our life. Like for example, I am a worship leader. I sing. So if I share that aspect of my life and someone else in my circles of influence sings, they relate to that aspect of me. And people are more likely to do business with others that they know who they are, they like them, and they trust them. And we build that by showing up consistently, authentically, and just sharing more aspects of our story rather than just always fitness or always business. Like the quirky things that we could talk about forever. Those things help create that know, like, and trust that ultimately, when that person is ready to make a decision, they're going to come to me because they're like, oh, I relate to her.
You know what? We started this off by talking about giving people permission to be transparent. Maybe we talked about it in the pre-call, but being when you get your Facebook memories and it comes back and you're like, wow, what was I thinking a year ago or 2 years ago? We're actually giving people permission to be transparent, to share that they're going through the journey along with others. We are helping people achieve their goals while we're achieving our goals. So that transparency should give people hope to share their stories and live out loud. You had some really great points, and I so appreciate all of your examples, because I think this is a call that people can go back and grab some of those examples. So thank you for doing all that, Joy.
You're welcome.
Um, in closing of the call, you've been a coach 6 years now. You want to share your story of how rewarding it has been for you so far?
It's so funny. Like when coaches come to this part of the call, they get emotional. And as I was prepping for this, I was like, oh, I think I can hold it together. But for whatever reason, this makes me really emotional. Um, Y'all, Beachbody has touched every area of my life. Like I don't know how to narrow down the most rewarding part about this journey. But I do want to share with you one experience that has me like forever bleeding blue. And that's the impact that Beachbody had on my oldest son. So after my breast cancer diagnosis, my oldest son started to experience severe depression and anxiety. And let me tell you, if you've ever lived through that or have someone close to you live through that, it is as real as cancer. He isolated himself completely from friendships. The only people who were really showing up in his life were ones who were, either us or people who were paid to, like teachers or counselors. And we were honestly desperate to have him feel friendship and connection. And thankfully, this business has given me courage to say things out loud that I might have kept quiet before. And my husband and I were in the test group for Shift Shop. And when Chris Downing heard about Charlie's story, he said, I want to talk to him. And he actually called my son on the phone. And I remember he was talking to my son in the kitchen. And I was in the dining room just like weeping, because I just thought, like, it's out of the whole world, like someone through this Beachbody thing that I had said no to for 7 years was willing to show up for my son. I mean, like, what other company would have that kind of ripple effect? And, my son's counselor said it was probably the most significant thing to happen to Charlie outside of like his teachers and counselors, and obviously us who were fighting for him. But, Chris continued to check in on him and text him. And when he came to Dallas for Super Sunday, he invited Charlie up on stage to help lead the workout. And I can't even tell you how much that meant to our family. And even though that's a specific story, I will tell you it's representative of the heart behind what we do. It's so much more than I can possibly describe, like the income and the opportunity and the leaders that we were created to be. Like you can evolve into who you were created to be and do, but the people that you meet on this journey, like they will literally change your life forever.
I was just so immersed in your story. That is a beautiful story. And it's so funny because look at this that came up in my affirmations. Today I choose joy. Isn't that adorable?
That's darling.
Joy, it's been great working with you, and thank you so much for sharing your personal story. And I'm sure people want to ask you more about how you gather more stories. I appreciate you coming on today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sandy.
And I had an affirmation, but when I saw that one about joy, I wanted to say that you are enough, because when you think of your stories and that imposter syndrome that Joy was talking about, sometimes you just think that you don't think your stories are enough, or that you are enough, or that you have anything to share or anything that will help others. But you do. You do. You just need to live out loud and let people know your story, share your story, so that you can be more relatable and more helpful to people. So, with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a very good day today, everybody. And let's have a positive mindset for the rest of the week. And we'll see you next week. Bye bye.